Nigeria is a country blessed of God with both human and non-human resources, with people of diverse tribes, culture, languages, an amazing landscape, rich for agriculture and animal husbandry. What more can we say? Indeed, Nigeria is blessed. In all, Nigeria is a work in progress with citizens so resilient and industrious. We keep hope alive. God bless Nigeria. Happy independence. Hello, everyone. Good to have you again on another episode of The Citizens on Dove Television. My name is Mike Adekunle, and we want to bless God for life and, of course, for what the Lord is doing for our nation, Nigeria. It may not be what we are looking for, but step after step, we want to believe that God is at work on Nigeria. And we are going there. And of course, we are on a journey. We are not there yet. And we are believing and praying, hoping that one day the Lord will be taking us to our ultimate destination as a Nigeria, where a child of nobody will not have to know anybody to become somebody in Nigeria. And all manner of oppressions we seek just by the words or by the lyrics of our national anthem, you know, where we'll have a banner without stain, where there will not be oppression, where we will all be proud of our dear nation, Nigeria. Now, I welcome you back again. I'd like you to please call all your friends to join us at this platform right now to learn. We are live on all our social media handles at Dove Television or Dove TV. We have a lot to talk about today, and without delay, I would like us to please dive into it quickly. I am being joined here in the studio with an engineer, of course, and a political evangelist, a child of God who is very passionate about the politics and politicking around Nigeria as a nation. I have engineer Adeshegun Olutayo Oshibanjo, who is a lead consultant, Macbeat Transnational Limited. Good to have you with us, sir.
Thank you so very much for having me again. This is like home.
Thank you so
Good
much.
to come back
yes,
home.
Of course, it's good to be here after you have appeared and appeared and appeared. We will not leave you, and we want to appreciate you for always, you know, yielding to our call each time we call on you.
There's no way you'll be called at home.
Yes.
And you will refuse the call of home.
Thank you so much. And of course, I have a wonderful audience with us, young ladies, young guys, who probably, not even probably, of course, they are citizens of this nation, and they will also be, you know, hearing their own opinion as concerning what we are looking at today. Like I said, a whole lot to look at. Now, as time will permit us, you know, we are going to be looking at, first and foremost, voter apathy. In taking the recent concluded election, Edo State election, as a case study. And not even that alone. Election generally in Nigeria had been marred with what is termed to be so many, you know, issues, so many parameters, but one of which we are going to be looking at today, and that is voter apathy. So let's start looking at that. And I would like to quickly lead you, in case you don't know, what does it mean? I know some of you may know, but then let's break it down to, you know, our understanding, like a layman language. When we talk about apathy, we are talking about to have a no interest, or to be to not concern about a particular issue or a particular matter, to show unconcern to issues. Now, there are so many citizens in Nigeria, especially among the young folks and averagely, let's say, the middle class or the well-educated ones. They are, over time, there have been a sign of unconcern, a sign of a show of no interest to the issue of voting in Nigeria. And it has become an issue we need to quickly look at. So, Engineer Oshibanjo, I'd like you to please lead us into this conversation as concerning our topic today, voter apathy. Why, how, and, you know, what does it mean generally?
Okay. Thank you very much. When we say voter apathy, I will tell you, this has landed us a great deal into where we are today in Nigeria.
Yes.
Apathy generally. I mean, political apathy, I'll choose to call it.
Okay, not only as concerning elections.
I won't limit it to elections alone. I will say political apathy. Again, this apathy is more on the part of us, Christians. A lot of us, we show non-concern, and we say politics is dirty. It's only for the dirty-minded persons. It's for the garage guys, the touts, and the rest of them. Now we forget one thing. When you're talking politics, politics is what determines, what charts the course. The course of the nation.
Yes.
The future of the nation. That's what decides it. It's what decides our own future, our children's future, the future of the unborn generation. These are the things we tend to forget. Now, when all this happens, now we have abdicated our God-given responsibility of dominion as it is in Genesis. It was clear, go and dominate. What does go and dominate means? Go and possess. How well have we done all this? So now we have allowed those that knows next to nothing about governance to take over everything. And we're still making matters worse now by now moving on to election apathy, voters' apathy. What for? Things are changing a great deal. The electoral system has been revised and revised regularly. Revision of the Electoral Act is an ongoing thing. It keeps, the dynamics keep changing all the time. So why? We have a process now that we must all follow through. When we say we're still showing apathy, if we show voters apathy for local government elections, I understand that is a state coordinated elections, which, yes, if you ask me, the governors are the umpire for that. But when we're talking federal elections, as it happened in Edo, if the voters continue in apathy, we're doing ourselves in. Those that are not meant to get into governance, we're giving them governance on a platter of gold. That's just what we're handing it to them. If we say, again, if you say you're still, upholding apathy to election voting, why are we having the issues of election buying? Why are politicians scampering here there to buy voters' vote? To buy votes.
Now, sorry to cut in now. Let's look at the just concluded Edo State election as a case study as we are looking at it right now.
Yeah.
What's your general view, your general opinion as regarding the outcome of that election, which was majorly the results, I will not say was condemned, but commented to be less of integrity. The integrity test of that election was rated very, very low by the civil society organizations, and the PDP in that election had, resorted to the fact that they will be going to challenge the outcome of the election in the court. So, what do you have to say? What is your opinion generally, as regarding the outcome of that election?
When you say,
declaring the APC candidate, Senator Monday Okpeholo, as the winner of the election.
No, sorry, I'll have to come back at you with another. With my own question now.
Yes.
When you say integrity test, what exactly are you talking about? What integrity
the
test?
Parameters around it.
What were those parameters?
Looking at vote buying, looking at violence, snatching of ballot boxes in some local governments, in the state. Now, that alone has subjected the outcome of the results to something.
Integrity test.
Yes.
See, I would approach your question this way. If you're going into any election, it's like you're going into a battlefield.
Okay.
You should, approach any election with the seriousness it deserves, with the preparedness it deserves. Now, what's it? What's the name of the sitting governor now?
Obaseki.
Okay.
Governor
Godwin Obaseki
Yes.
had won elections twice. Now, while still with the ruling party, he won the election. While out of the ruling party as an opposition,
Yes.
he won under the ruling party. I remember President Muhammadu Buhari, he visited after the elections, he rushed to Abuja. He himself rushed to Abuja to visit President Muhammadu Buhari, and he opened his doors, opened his arms to him and told him, yes, you're welcome, congratulations, you have defeated my party. Okay, fine. When he got that, there was no complaints, right? But now that he got defeated as a sitting governor, he's crying foul. He's crying wolf.
No, it's not the only one. It's not the only one. The candidate of Labour Party has also come out to say that the election process was marred with, vote buying.
See, I think we need to learn to be magnanimous in losing as well, not just magnanimous in victory. We need to become gallant losers.
So to you, nothing was wrong with the process.
See,
from beginning
there
to the
will
end.
always be controversies about elections. Like we're talking before we entered the program proper, you need to enter into the elections, with high-level preparedness and be ready to follow through with the process. You must ensure that you're well represented everywhere. All polling units, you must be there. Your presence must be felt. You must be visibly there. The process, the electoral process is very clear now. And it requires you must be on ground if you really want to follow through. At every polling center, results are collated. They are all signed by representatives, by all political party representatives. So every representative, they have their copies, and it is this copy that is expected to be transmitted to the next collation center.
Okay.
So if there are disparities, once you have your copy duly signed, I don't see a problem here.
Must all outcome of our elections be transmitted into courts or be translated into, legal tussle and all that? Because PDP, they vowed to go to court. I remember 2023 election, the general election, also was settled at the court. Must all our elections, because a government has spent a whole lot of money.
Yes.
Into the commission, the INEC right now, the electoral umpire, to ensure a free, fair, credible elections.
Yes.
Now, should individuals or parties still spend a humongous amount of money to still pursue cases in the court in a way of settling, results? Can't we have it once and for all? Is it not possible? When are we going to have free, fair, credible elections in Nigeria?
See, what we're talking about is not limited to Nigeria. It happens everywhere else in the world.
It's not limited in Nigeria, but we can get it right. We can lay a template even for others to follow in the world.
See,
is it difficult?
This is why we all need to come out and participate in the political process. This is the apathy thing we're still talking about.
Yes.
See, by the time we as citizens, we all wake up to our responsibilities and we all decide to begin to follow through the political process. I tell you, let's not deceive ourselves. We have an unfavorable political system in place right now in Nigeria. And that's the truth.
Okay.
We have it.
If you hold this opinion, I don't think you should be blaming a party who lost in an election. Because the process
How would I not blame them? This same party won the previous election. And the sitting president congratulated Governor Obaseki. So this is why I said we all need to be gallant losers. We say be magnanimous in victory. Me, I would extend it to,
failure too.
Let's be magnanimous to losing. Yes. Obaseki had his time, so if he wants to go to court, by all means, the courts are there. And I mean, it's a clear-cut process.
For
if
me,
you're going to court,
I just believe.
See, if you're going to court, it's a tough one everywhere in the world. You know why I said that? Because the onus is on you, lies on you to prove your point and prove your point beyond reasonable doubt.
Yes.
Once you're not able to do
court
that,
works with evidence.
yes.
So,
and this is why I said, if you have all your facts well, you have all your papers from every polling unit, you have a good case.
But I just feel everybody should be given a level playing ground when it comes to the issue of context.
See, if you ask me, I'll just tell you, PDP was not well prepared.
And at the same time, sir, because whatever we do today, our actions and inactions, generations to come, they are following, they are watching. Now, when, because the issue, we are talking about voter apathy today.
Yes.
Some of reasons why someone, maybe a young folks, will say, no, I'm not going out to vote because I know my vote will not count. Probably might be for the reason of rigging. Now, INEC had come up with electronic, the beavers.
Yes.
You get what I'm trying to say now?
A lot of electronic modifications to the electoral
technology
act.
Around.
Yes.
Yet, INEC will still
technology into
insist.
the elections, yes.
INEC will still insist they want to do manual collation. Why not electronic collation? I don't know if you are getting what I'm trying to say now.
I
don't know what.
well.
I'm sure the Electoral Act,
yes,
provided for electronic collection and manual collection. But why would they resort to say we are collecting manually?
See, if you ask me, I will put the blame on the National Assembly and the rest of us.
Okay.
We're not following through. Now, there's every tendency, if I'm doing laws for the country and I'm a sitting National Assembly member, I will want to do some bit of twerking to favor my situation in case I want to come back again. The onus is now on the rest of us, watching them. Those bills, they go through stages. How many of us, I'm also a corporate, how many of us follow through? How many of us shout when we need to shout? There are a lot of things, that's why I said we are not following through with the process. Now, when we're drafting laws, I would look at ways of introducing loopholes that I can always capitalize on in case when I have to go to court. So that I'll be drawing inferences from here, there, I'll be looking at the lacunas here, there in the laws, so that I can exploit them to my advantage. So what does the Electoral Act really say? Why do we have an Electoral Act with lacunas? How did we get there? Once we allow laws with lacunas, loopholes here, there, I tell you, politicians are smart. Politicians will exploit on that. So let's all wake up. Let's all participate. Let's all become active participants and follow through the entire process and ensure when all hands are on deck, we will get it right. But if we continue with this apathy, we'll continue complaining till the kingdom come. That's it.
As put forward by one of our regular guests here, that is Chief Honorable Kolade Segun Okewu, who concluded...
AKA KSO, sorry.
AKA yes. KSO, all right. Who concluded that massive voter turnout makes rigging difficult and stretches the efforts of would-be riggers. That is, if we will all come out to say...
He has just corroborated what I said.
It will be difficult to rig.
Yes.
Now, because when we talk about voter apathy, we are talking about the gap, a wide margin between a registered or between the numbers of those who registered to vote and the number of those who eventually voted.
Yes.
Now, Edo, as a case study, he put forward some statistics.
What's the number of registered voters in Edo?
Yes, he put forward some statistics I would like us to also consider.
Good.
In East and West local government, for instance.
Esan.
Okay, Esan West local government in Edo State, 113,067 people, voters, registered to vote.
Okay.
And only 25,702 were accredited to vote. And eventually, only 25,384 voters cast their vote.
Or the valid vote.
Valid vote, yes, the valid vote. That is okay. Just do the subtraction. 25,000 from 113,000. The margin
very huge,
wide,
huge.
So
it's a huge one.
So much people registered to vote, and eventually only 25,000 came out to vote. Now look at another local government, Owan West local government, 67,076 registered to vote. Only 24,311, were accredited also to vote. Now, let's take one more local government. Let's go to Ego local government. 242,266 people registered to vote. Only 35,463 were accredited to vote. In fact, it's far away from 50%, of that. Now, why? What do you think could be a reason for an individual to say, okay, I actually will have interest to vote and eventually will not still come out to vote?
I would say this. When it's voting time, a lot of our elites, I'm not talking political, when we're talking elites now, there are different categories of elites. I'm not talking political elites now. But the elite class, yourself, myself, the rest of us, the corporate guys, when it's election time, what we forget is federal elections, it is no longer business as usual. We need to let this sink in our heads. This is why they are asking to buy or attempting to buy our votes.
Okay.
They are buying our votes because at the federal level, your vote, my vote, our votes count a lot now. That is what we need to know that the Electoral Act reviews have achieved, and that's the truth.
Okay.
Now, I'll be talking to Keso. I hope he watches this program. He's a national director with DPG, the PFN political
Electoral
arm.
Education.
Yes. I think he's the director of training, something like that. Now, DPG will do well. DPG and PFN will do well to embark on enlightenment campaign. Do a strong national campaign on voters' apathy and open our eyes to see the harm we're doing to ourselves with voters' apathy, and make us all understand that we're just handing these political positions to them, to whomever is contesting, on a platter of gold if we do not come out to vote, because it's whatever is counted that will be declared.
Now, KSO, he had done his own bit. You have the platform now. If you are to, convince an individual watching right now,
yes,
on voter apathy, what would you say? What would be your message to really encourage somebody to say, no, you have been laid back, you have been sitting behind, you have been saying, no, it won't count. Can you make sense of the fact that to an individual watching right now that, see, in the next election, you go out to vote, your vote will count. And how can that be achieved?
Okay, let me quickly do this. Let me see how fast I'm able to go about this and quickly do this. Now, I will tell everyone listening, watching this program right now, desist from voter apathy. Stop saying your vote does not count. Like I said earlier on, the electoral process has been reviewed a great deal. Your votes now count, and that is why politicians are doing vote buying. Now, let's all get involved in the process. This was why I was saying, see, we have the current political system we have in Nigeria is unfavorable to the elites. Those that we have allowed to take over the political system, I mean, they have kind of wired a political system that is, I would say, impregnable. Because the political system we have right now will not run through candidates like us successfully. At a point, it will reject us.
Now,
if we all do not get involved, our situation, may our situation not worsen.
Now, let me conclude that thought with this piece and then look at one angle to it. Then we see how far we move from there. Now, as long as, this is according to KSO, as long as the gap between registered voters and accredited voters remain as it is, rigging, vote buying, and other electoral malpractices will continue unabated. Massive voters' turnout makes rigging difficult and stretches the efforts of would-be riggers. That is, if we all come out,
yes,
en masse,
yes,
to vote massively, it will be so difficult to rig. I remember the 2023 election, the general election, in my unit where I voted, the vote there for our candidate was massive that it would have been really so difficult for anybody to say want to rig otherwise, because it was massive. Really
Let me share
massive.
an experience with you.
But then, because of our time, okay, you will share your experience, please do not forget. But then, in conclusion, as regarding this, we all must have it in mind to always turn out, because your turnout, your number at every polling unit while voting is usually will make any rigger, we give such a rigger a difficult time to say he wants to, because it will be a very massive one. We are due for a break and we are going on that very shortly. I mean, now, as we play just a few clips, then we'll come back to really continue this conversation. Please do stay tuned. Welcome to a platform for a robust, inspiring, and engaging conversation in the world of politics and governance, business, education, and more, and concerning you as a citizen and your civic responsibilities. Watch The Citizens on Dove Television at 1 p.m. every Tuesday, West African time, and a repeat broadcast every Thursday at 11 p.m. The Citizens, we are all in this together. All right, welcome back. I promise you it's going to be a very short one, and we are back. So please follow through with us. We'll be looking at the issue of voter apathy, looking at several parameters around it, and why people, will sit back, will show no interest to say, after all, my vote will not count. And we are saying to you, Engineer Olutayo here, also saying that your vote will count if you really come out en masse and vote. Now, you were about to share an experience.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Let me bring us up. A lot of them may not understand. I mean, they don't know about the June 12, 1993 presidential elections.
Okay.
That's the experience I want to quickly share. Around then, I just got back. I just graduated from maybe electrical engineering. Then I just got back home. I guess I was registered in Samaru, Zaria. So when I got back home, I couldn't vote. Okay. You know what I did then? That period, there was massive voters turnout. And the sun was so scorching.
I think one of the highest in the history of the country.
Massive voters turnout. This is why, I'm still re-emphasizing that point that if we all come out and follow through the process, the processes we have now are easily, a lot modified than in 1993. You know what I did? I could not vote, but what I did then was to go home, bring out all the umbrellas, begin to share umbrellas around for those that could vote. I was there, observing the process as well.
You could not vote, but you came out to cheer up those
that are registered. I think that was Adebisi Street, Alagomeji. Yes, I remember precisely now. And that was exactly what I did. And we followed through until we all voted. That massive turnout, to corroborate what KSO said, is what we need. There has to be massive voters' education. INEC still needs to go with this and do massive voters' education.
I think the advocacy, the training will not have to stop at no time.
Not at all. Then DPG and other politically inclined organizations or NGOs should also join INEC in massive voters campaign and awareness and let people know that votes count. But where there is serious work is the local government elections.
Now, let's dive into that quickly. Let's look at the local government election. The president came up with a huge idea to say, okay, we must give autonomy to local government because it's the closer to the closest, tiers of government to the people, to the
grassroots, yes.
So we have to give them autonomy. And since that time, right now, all the states in the federation have been running to say they want to conduct election. Some just conducted, I think Imo State conducted a couple of days ago, and the result came out. Now, the issue now is, why is it that it is the ruling party at the state level that will always take all the seats at the local government level? Look at the Imo, for instance. All the 27 local governments in the state of Imo, all the seats of the local government was taken by APC. Where are other parties? Are they not also interested? Should we say there is what is called party apathy for not showing interest in contesting for local government election? And it happens like that in all the states as they conduct these, local government elections.
Okay. Now, may I also remind you that I was a part of, I also have aspired to become the local government chairman for Ikenne local government, Ogun State.
Yeah, in Ogun State. So Ogun State's local government election will be coming up
in November.
In November.
Yes. In November. Now we need to. That was why I said except the states. The local government elections. This is also one of the fallout of. The constitutional lacunas I'm talking about. If you put local government elections in the hands of state government, then it's as good as you have handed local government elections to the governors. The governors are the umpires of that election. And that's the truth. If we're sincere with ourselves. Now, the state independent, it's across the board in Nigeria. The governors would appoint or constitute, yes, that's the word, the governors will constitute the State Independent Electoral Commission entirely.
But going by the name, they are meant to be independent. But in the real sense of it, they actually not.
This is why I said it is a constitutional lacuna. And again, it's all because all of us are not following through what we're meant to follow through. We should have kicked against this law.
Now, I think the whole thing is now coming back to us.
Yes.
I think before we start campaigning against voter apathy, we should start campaigning against a wholesome constitution that will better the lots of our institutions like INEC.
See, we all need to work on ourselves. The root cause of our problems today is us, you and I. For abstaining that God-given role of dominion. I've said it earlier on, I'm saying it again. We abdicated that commission of God to dominate. We abdicated it, we left it, we turned our back on it. Now we're seeing how things are going. We're all groaning bitterly. It's now, like I said in one of the programs here, Christians started playing politics when we felt the need to return the former vice president, Yemi Osinbajo, back into power. I'm telling you, that was the real time that I know that Christendoms really started playing politics in Nigeria. Now, no structure.
And it appears we've all gone back to sleep again since our candidates.
That project was laughable. Laughable, why? Because Christendom doesn't have a structure. How many party delegates?
Anyway, I speak as a Christian, not as an individual, that we've all gone back, because I don't think I've gone back.
But that's the general statement, and that's the truth. A lot of us, it's just a few of us that are still active in politics today, and that's how it is. We need that awareness. Every one of us needs to wake up and be alive. This whole thing we're talking about starts with the laws made by the National Assembly. Because that is the starting point. Once those laws are made, you and I will have to abide by them. Once they are running through bills, stage 1, stage this, that, we should all have risen up. Whether we're forming ourselves into pressure groups or whatever, we should have countered those bills before they're assented to by the president, and it becomes law or an act.
I have a big question for you, but not a big deal anyway. But then I want you to, think over it. Our problem in Nigeria, as I bring, in our, audience, let's our problem in Nigeria is our problem leadership problem or systemic problem? Is it about the system that governs us or about leadership? So why you ruminate on that?
I do not need to ruminate over nothing. The answer is yeah. But let's bring in our audience. So should any of you have a question there, just signifies. Let's hear from you. Okay, Shola, right? Please go ahead. Tell us. Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. So my question is, we've been able to establish voter apathy, what it means and everything. And then I also think one can infer from what you've said that this is a problem that's built up systematically over different elections and all. So my question is about the Nigerian electoral system, and then in relation to voter apathy. Do we have an electoral system that actually accounts for a problem that enough people don't come out to vote? Like basically now we have a majority system where the person with the most votes wins the election. But then is it really practicable in a system that only a fraction of the registered voters come out to vote? So you have a nation of 250 million people and 30 million come out to vote, and the person with 10 million votes wins that election. So can you say 30 million people decide for the whole of the country, even though they are not coming out to vote?
Did you get that?
I got what you said fairly, I will say. But again, we're talking, election is a game of numbers.
Yes, it's about the number.
It's about the majority votes. It's all about the conditions, the conditions prescribed in the Electoral Act. If those conditions prescribed in the Electoral Act are met, the candidate is declared winner. You see, this is still what I'm talking about, the laws that are churned out by the National Assembly. We need to get very interested.
Yeah, incorporating his question, because you look at the number of votes that brought in our president now, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Okay.
You see, you will see is a fraction of the entire populace of the nation. Yes. And you look at the number of voters that did not vote him, combine the numbers of voters, those who voted NNPP, those who voted for PDP, those who voted for LP, combine those three figures in comparison to the number that brought him up as a winner. You see, it's a fraction to those so many in combination. And now we have him as the president over about 2 million people.
Yes.
That's what he's saying. What's the justification?
It's still what I have said earlier on. It's all about what is prescribed in the Electoral Act, which is the law guiding the conduct of elections. So if it is a simple majority thing that is written in there, then it is that simple majority that determines who wins. So this is why I said, if you decide to sit in the comfort of your home when elections are going on, you decide to take that day as your rest period, let me do this, let me do that, or play ball.
And that is when you see most of our young people playing balls on decided streets.
See some elites that loves to play ball once in a while. You see them
Yes.
come out on such days
And
to
you see
play
some,
with the kids.
you know, sit with their TV set and analyzing and predicting who will, who will not win.
So, if that is why I said voter apathy is like you're handing that position on a platter of gold to
somebody who doesn't deserve it.
God bless you. That's it. That in simple words, that's what it means.
All right. Okay, let's come across to you. Are you okay with that? Okay.
Are you cool with that? Right.
It's about the constitution. It's about the system. It's about what
We
has been
need
provided
to be
for.
alive. We need to be on the red alert.
But then
once
to
we start
change the
hearing
narrative, we have to
laws.
come alive.
Yes.
And
when
be
we
active.
have laws, I mean, whatever laws is being read on the floor of the National Assembly, we all need to be interested. Because at the end of the day, that law is going to regulate our lives. Yeah. Your life, my life, the lives of our children, and our young ones.
Yes. All right. Favor, are you there?
Okay, sir. How do you change people's mind towards voting apathy?
All right. So, a very nice question there. In fact, some will always come up with a narrative of a statement that they know who will win already. So they know who. It's not about election, it's about selection. That the person they want to be there, they know it, and the person eventually will be there. I don't have to vote. My vote has nothing, you know, to add to what they have in mind to decide on.
Okay.
So
I'll approach
how do we change it otherwise?
I'll approach it this way now, this time. For federal elections, the Electoral Act, like I said earlier on, has been reviewed, is constantly being reviewed, for changes, for modifications to make the system, to improve the integrity of the system majorly. And I think a lot is being achieved in that regard. What we need to do is to now continue to encourage ourselves. Those that we know that, they have this nonchalance to this apathy towards anything called elections, we need to start encouraging ourselves. INEC has to do more in terms of voter education. And like I said, the NGOs, DPG, so far, DPG is beginning to go to sleep a little bit. The firebrand with which they started is, the flame is, is gradually, that flame is getting reduced somehow. I hope our father, Pastor Femi Emmanuel, would not get tired. He's done a lot. He's done a lot. I pray he will not get tired. So we need to continue more on that. Voters' education and active participation in the monitoring, in the following up laws running through the National Assembly.
All right. So, coming to my question.
Yes.
Our major problem in Nigeria, leadership or system?
Okay. The Nigerian issue is very simple and straightforward. That was why I told you then. I need not ruminate over this.
This is how many of you, elites, like you put it earlier, this is what you will always say. Our problem is very simple.
You have not helped me out first.
Our president today has said all that before getting into Aso Rock. Oh, we know what to do. The president then, Muhammad Buhari, supposed to have done this, doing this, this will have fixed this, this will have fixed that. And he's there now. He had done all manner, he had postulated and put forward all manner of policies and no change yet. So he said it's simple. So tell us, how simple?
I'll tell you. Baba, like I love to call him.
That is the eulogy of our president. He knows it better.
Now, I'll tell you, a lot of us may not know, but he has done a lot. I'm not holding brief for him. Sincerely, I'm not at all. But for him, you talked about local government autonomy. Local government autonomy has always been there. It was truncated along the line. So what he has just done is to put that autonomy back on track.
And back it up by law.
No, the law was also there. The law has always been there. It's just that a truncation, I can't actually remember who committed that truncation now. Where, because in time past, local government funds gets directly paid into the local government bank accounts. But unfortunately, somewhere along the line, one president started paying into
the
state
account.
government account. That's not what the law says. So what President Tinubu did was just to reinforce that law.
Okay.
Because so that there won't be any ambiguity. He didn't even run it through the National Assembly. He took it to that arm of government that is responsible for interpreting the laws of the land, which was very well delivered. The governors could not. They could not.
You've not answered my question.
I've not answered
because so many of these policies you are trying to defend right now had not resorted to putting money into people's pockets. And our money today is becoming lesser in value to what it can buy in the market.
You want to hear the truth from me? I'm also in pains because the amount I pay now for fuel, geez, if I have to, fuel a Corolla with 45K. What normally costs me like, how much was it then? Less than 10K, maybe between 7,000 and 8,000. Now costs me 45K. I'm groaning as well.
So many people are groaning.
And I see the hawks are attacking the policies of President Tinubu. I'm telling you. Like I say, the president should not have. Why we're in this, majorly in this today, is because you want to know, fuel subsidy is gone. It was not a part of the presidential inauguration speech, but for President Tinubu, for the kind of heady person he is, that statement just flew from nowhere.
One way or the other, it will have to go.
And the hawks, it will, but it's the way you systematically do this thing. Because it was from day one, and it was like the hawks felt, look at this man. You just came and like, he said from day one he will hit the ground running. But the way he hit the ground running, is a major thing. Inflicting pains on people. See, the hawks, it was a terrible blow.
Who are these hawks?
The hawks?
Yes.
The cabals.
The cabals. Who are they?
The cabals. They exist everywhere. They are in every sector of the economy. Let me answer your question before we drift to other things. We're already drifting. Let me answer your question. See, Nigeria started with 4 constitutions. Okay? That was 4 independent constitutions. We had the federal constitution then. There was the Western Nigerian Constitution. There was the Northern Nigerian Constitution. There was the Eastern Nigerian Constitution. Okay? By the time I run through this, you will know what the problem is with Nigeria. That's why I said it is here in my head. Now, every region, was running at their own pace. Development was going at the pace of, whomever is managing each region.
Yeah, regional government.
Exactly. We had regional, God bless you, we had regional governments then. I cite an example. I've cited it before on this program. Then, the bulk of what you have in the UK today, the Nigerian House, was Western Nigeria House. Western Regions House. That is what became Nigeria House in UK today. Then, we had 3 ambassadors in Nigeria. One for Northern Nigeria, one for Western Nigeria, one for Eastern Nigeria. Then we now had the United Nations Commissioner. I remember it was Papa Matthew Mbu. Then, so Nigeria was running, as the independent fathers, agreed to then. But unfortunately, with the coup, with the Major Nzegu coup, that was the beginning of Nigeria's problem. Eventually, when General Umunakwe, Thomas Agui Ironsi, when he came, he now decided, I don't know where he got that from. He now decided to suspend all the 4 constitutions and now replace the 4 constitutions with just 1 constitution. a unitary constitution, a militarized constitution.
Probably with the mind of running a
skilled
unitary
in
government.
favor of, yes, that's a unitary style of government started with General Umunakwe Aguiyi-Ironsi. It started with him. So it now became, we all have to now start flowing at the same pace. That was the genesis. I mean, that is the genesis of our problem. No, don't let me say worse. It is still that same
the same problem we are facing today.
We're still facing today.
So it's more of constitutional, more
it
of
is a constitutional,
problem,
systemic issue. We need, what we're running today is a militarized constitution, whether we like to admit it or not.
All right. You know what, Engineer Adeshegun Olutayo Shibaju, I'm not going to be leaving you now because a lot to still, squeeze out of you if you permit me to use that, because some of our, audience too having questions for you. I'd like you to please watch out for this in the next episode. My name is Mike Adekunle. Thank you. I'll see you again next time.